And good morning, everyone. Again, Mark Contra here from the Messer Financial offices in beautiful Mint Hill, North Carolina. And today we're going to have a great presentation. It's going to be from, as you can see on the screen, the United Home Life and United Farm Family Life Insurance Companies. And our presenter is going to be Ms. Cindy Ness. She is a Senior National Marketing Representative with them. She will be one of the people you will be able to contact for further details and assistance in the future. And she also has an associate, Zach Shorter. Zach will be sitting in on the line with us also, and he too is a senior national marketing representative that will be there to assist your business. So as we get started this morning, as usual, we're going to have the presentation in its entirety without any questions. Although you'll have that question box, you'll see it on your screen in the right column. Go ahead and put those in, and we'll come back and address those questions at the end. Also today, stay till the very end so you can hear about the very special bonus Messer is offering to you to become agents under the United Home Life window, and also to bring in your first piece of business within the next 30 days. So with that in mind, I'm going to turn it over now to Ms. Cindy. Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak with your agent. As our slide says, we are in the simplified issue market. That's all we do. We don't do full underwriting. We don't do annuities. We do life insurance. It's everything that we do, all that we do, and what we're passionate about. This is information about our companies. I just want to point out that we have consistently had an A- rating from AM Best. In fact, the UFFL A rating has been in place every year for 58 consecutive years. So we're very stable, we're very strong, we're not fancy, we're not glitzy, but we do know what we're doing. We've been in this market for more than a quarter of a century. That's our thing. Before I talk about this slide, I do just want to say, a lot of people ask questions about United Home Life and United Farm Family Life. We're small companies. They don't know much about us. So let me just fill in a little background. Our parent company is Indiana Farm Bureau. And as you may know, there are farm bureaus across the nation. But for Indiana Farm Bureau, as the name suggests, they can write business only in Indiana. So in order to drive premium growth, because they have a limited opportunity to do that in Indiana, they purchased United Home Life. And United Home Life and United Farm Family Life are in 48 states plus DC. We don't do New York, we don't do Alaska, but we do a lot of great business coast to coast and border to border other than that. So that's kind of our background. We believe in simplicity. It's a big thing with us. So we don't do exams, we don't do fluid testing, we don't ask for APSs, and we go down to age 0. Not a lot of carriers in the simplified market go down to age 0, but we do. We have low minimum face amounts. One of our products goes down to $2,000 for a face, and our apps are all yes/no. Makes it really simple. And typically those yes/no questions are just one page. We do have a lot of optional benefits and riders. Some are built in, some are at no cost, but it gives you the opportunity to custom tailor these products to your client's specific needs. We also offer our products on eApp. Everything is on eApp except our standard and preferred product, which is called Provider. Otherwise, our 4-term products, 4 whole life products, and our accidental death benefit coverage plan are all on eApp. You can do paper, you can do eApp. What's nice about the eApp is business submitted through that system goes to the front of the line. And it's typically an app that's fully complete with all the requirements in. So just kind of keep that in mind. Our product portfolio consists of these plans. As I mentioned, we have 4-term plans, we have 4 final expense plans, we have a standard and preferred product, and an accidental death benefit product. Now, in the term plans, we do have an ROP, which is a great deal for your clients because you can purchase the SI Term 20 ROP product. You can, at the end of 20 years, you can get a refund of your annual premiums, or you can continue coverage on a reduced paid-up basis with no more premiums due ever. Guaranteed in the policy, you've got reduced paid-up coverage to age 95. We have the, as I mentioned, the 4 final expense plans. You can see the issue ages there. We do have one guaranteed issue plan. It's a 3-year graded benefit. At the beginning of policy year 4, it's a full death benefit. Our express issue whole life is a 2-year graded plan. At the end of, or at the beginning of the 3rd policy year, it goes to the full death benefit. Provider is a great plan for juvenile. If any of you have kids or your clients have kids, you know that if something catastrophic happens in their health history, they become uninsurable. Even something like juvenile diabetes can prevent them from ever getting coverage. On Provider, if you get that on the child, I think it's 15 or 30 days when we can actually start issuing policies. It's got a built-in GIB rider, so if something happens, God forbid, in their health history, later on, they can still have the opportunity to purchase up to the face amount without evidence. So it's a great little plan to put on juvenile. And then our Protector AD plan also has a return of premiums at the end of 20 years. If you don't use the return of premium, then premiums will increase annually. So it makes sense to do the ROP and then turn around, and if you're within the age range, buy another Protector AD because you'll get your annual premiums back at the end of 20 years. So for our term plans, we have all 4 terms on one application. It's a 5-year look back, again, e-app and paper. We do have a product for insulin-dependent diabetics in term. It's called the SI Term 20 DLX. If they otherwise qualify health-wise, and they're using insulin to treat diabetes, we do have a term product available for them. And I want to point out the bullet that says free child rider. What's nice about this is that if you write one of our term plans for $100,000 base or more, you can add a $5,000 child rider at no cost. So if you've sold one of our term plans to a client who later on has a child, you can go back and add that free child rider at no cost. It's a way to, provide an additional service to your client. It's a way to get coverage on the child, and when they're 25, they can convert that to permanent. Again, on the final expense, we have 4 products on one app. It's a 2-year look back for most products, except for guaranteed issue, obviously, because there's no health questions there. Again, we have a product for insulin-dependent diabetics. It's called Express Issue Deluxe, and we do issue ages 20 to 80. And that's kind of rare in the final expense market. Typically, carriers will start at 45 or 50, but we actually go down to age 20. Now, I know that a lot of agents write fully underwritten products. They write a lot bigger cases. Some get involved in estate planning and that kind of thing. But it really makes sense to have a little final expense policy on the side. You can buy one for $10,000 or $20,000, park it on the side, continue with your estate planning and whatever you need to do. But when the time comes, that little plan can make all the difference because, as you may know, trying to unbuckle mutual funds or money markets, that kind of thing to help pay for final expenses takes time. It just pays out in 3 days. And, funeral homes are really happy when they know there's a little life insurance policy sitting there that's going to pay out the claim very quickly. I mentioned our Provider Whole Life. It's the standard or preferred risks only. Issue ages 0 to 80. So if you've got a really healthy senior, you may be able to get into Provider Whole Life, but it is standard. There's no tables built into this. It's standard only. It does have built-in no-cost riders and benefits such as our terminal illness benefit. There's a charity benefit where 1% of the face amount can be paid out to the charity of the client, the policy owner's choice. There's a built-in hospital waiver, identity theft waiver, those kind of things. It's kind of nice. It's got some extra riders that truly are no cost to the client. On Protector AD, this is a great plan if you know any municipal policemen or firefighters because it's age neutral, gender neutral, tobacco neutral, 3 face amounts, 3 premiums. That's it. And the accidental death portion of this plan doubles over 20 years. So if you buy a $100,000 policy over 20 years, that accidental death portion will double to $200,000. This is actually a great big accidental death benefit rider on a little tiny whole life policy. It's a great plan for long haul truckers, which not a lot of companies will cover, and commercial window washers. You know, those guys that go up to the 50th floor on the outside on a little platform and scrub the windows. We will cover them on this. We don't take SWAT, we don't take FBI or special forces, those kind of things. But we do take a lot of occupations that other carriers won't. And again, it's one question. It has to do with your driving record and hazardous avocations. We are very competitive in this market. You know, we're not always number one, but we are right in the hunt. We looked at our final expense plan called Express Issue Premier Whole Life. We looked at our ROP term, and we looked at provider. And we put together pieces that are available on our website for agents to review that show how we stack up against other carriers. So once you're contracted with us, you'll have access to the website, and you can take a look at these. And we do keep these updated so that everything that's in there is current. It's pretty simple to do business with us. Our applications are easy. Again, it's yes, no health questions. We have all the final expense plans on one app, all the term plans on one app. We have e-app for final expense term and Protector AD, and we have a great quoting site on our website. And we also have it available as a mobile quote, which you can save as a favorite on your phone. So you can pull up a quote without even logging into the site. Our immediate death benefit plans are listed here. We do have a 2-year look back for previously postponed and declined clients. We will take disabled clients, and we have a living benefit for the policy owner. If the insured is diagnosed with a terminal illness and has less than 12 months or less, we will accelerate all of the death benefit except a portion that's paid out or that's kept by us. Basically, the benefit discounted at 1 year at interest, but they can accelerate virtually all of the death benefit, and there are no restrictions on how those funds can be used. So if you want to, you know, do specialized treatment or treatment in another country, or you want to just go on vacation, or you want to clear up, you know, financial issues now, that's a great opportunity to do it. In a very sad situation, it's something that's kind of positive that can happen with your life insurance policy. As I mentioned, we do have 2 modified death benefit plans. One is Express Issue Whole Life, and the other is Guaranteed Issue Whole Life. Except in the state of Pennsylvania, there are no health questions. In Pennsylvania, you have to complete the health questions before you can apply for Guaranteed Issue Whole Life. I don't understand that, but that's the rule in Pennsylvania. We don't do a PHI for that. Everything else we do a PHI for, except the Protector AD plan. So Protector AD, Guaranteed Issue Whole Life, no PHIs. Otherwise, it's a PHI. It's 10 to 15 minutes. The interviewer is a seasoned underwriter. We contract that out to a company called IBU. And while they're doing the interview, they're looking at the MIB and the prescription database search. Typically, it runs 10 to 15 minutes. You can do that at the time, or we can do it. But we do suggest that agents try and do it at point of sale just so they can hear what the client's saying. So if there's any question, they can clear it up on the app before it gets submitted, instead of having to deal with an underwriter who's questioning something after the fact. So here's another way to look at what we offer. We have standard and preferred, that's the provider, and then we have built-in tables and the other products. You can see those listed here. And then the accidental death is a driving application question only. Again, simplified underwriting, it's our thing. It just makes writing the business and getting the coverage issued quickly and on the client, and it just makes it happen much faster. We do have underwriting guidelines built into our product portfolio, and we also have an underwriting terminology sheet. Sometimes the questions on the app can be like general, and then we use this underwriting terminology sheet to say this is actually what we're looking for. For example, liver disease is cirrhosis or hepatitis, but on the app it says liver disease. It doesn't say cirrhosis or hepatitis. What we're trying to do is keep our questions down to one page, so we use this sheet to help explain what it is that we're looking for. And on our underwriting guidelines that are on the back of our product portfolio, we do have a sample build chart so that you can get an idea of where your client might fall with one of our products. At the end of the PHI as well, you're going to have a good idea of whether you've applied for the correct plan for your client or not based on their answers to the questions, the prescription search, and the MIB check. So we have a stacked app, and the way it works is, you just go through and you have these yes/no questions. Each section is for a different plan. So to answer all the Express Issue Whole Life questions is no. All the Express Issue Deluxe questions is no. And then you get into Express Issue Premier and you have a yes answer. You go back to Express Issue Deluxe. So it's pretty simple to figure out how the apps work. And we like these yes/no questions. We like keeping it to one page. As far as agent support goes, we do have a really robust agent website. We do have a mobile quoting site. We have tons and tons of materials, some that can be customized with your agent information on it if you want to do a mailing, if you wanted to do a flyers at like a senior health fair or something like that. We have postcards, we have a mailer, we have a lot of materials. We also have a new book called Smart Strategy. It's actually sales concepts. Each one is one page, and it talks about a different financial obligation, such as a mortgage or a car loan, or ensuring the future for children, or special needs kids, or leaving a legacy to your college. And each page kind of explains the concept, what questions to ask for, what kind of products or prospects you should be looking for, and then recommends a product that might work for that. So that's a nice piece. It's brand new. We also have a lot of videos. We have webinars. We have these little mini videos we call Smart Fits that do a quick conversation about a product for a specific market fit. We have a recruiting brochure available if you're doing some active recruiting. We've got a great brochure for that. We pay all appointment fees for our agents, whether it's resident or non-resident. And as far as getting contracted goes, it's pretty simple. We implemented an e-contracting system last summer. And what happens is the upline sends the prospective agent a link to our e-contracting kit. They fill out the information and send it to us, and within 48 hours, we have an agent code and are able to give them access to our agent website. And I want you to believe me when I say that agent website can be a real lifesaver. You can look at your business. You can download every piece of business you've ever written with us. You can check your persistency, your pay to submit ratio. You can also look at your debit balances. I know that's a negative connotation, if you will, but debit balances do exist. So you can check out there for that. You can quote for products. You can link to eApp. You can look at your hierarchy and see what kind of business they're writing. You can look at a specific policy that you have pending and click on a link and email the underwriter for that policy right from the website. All of our videos are there. We have a program called Goal for brand new agents. It's a modular program that goes through everything that we have to offer, different underwriting. There's an underwriting module, there's a new business module, there's product modules. You can learn at your own pace. You can log on in the middle of the night. Our site is available 24/7. Applications can be downloaded. You need a replacement form or a reinstatement form. There's a contact list, a state approval list. Lord have mercy, my mouth's getting dry. Talking about everything that's out there, and we continually add to it. So it's a great resource for you all, especially for those that happen to be on the West Coast. They can always get into the website and check something there, even if they can't get hold of us. Now, our phone lines are open till 6:30 Eastern, Monday through Friday, but sometimes folks on the West Coast are, they're not able to get in touch with us at that time, but they can go on the website, check on their business, download a commission statement, look at their commission schedule, see if they're on track for incentive trips. So as I mentioned, there's a lot there. We have a theme for our incentive trips. It's called Color the World, because we've taken our agents all over the world. We have reasonable qualifications. We have great destinations. Our trip next year, the qualification period is going on now through December 31st, is a 7-night Alaskan cruise. But our past trips, this year's trip, which we just got back from, was Malta. And we've taken folks to Russia. We've taken folks to Monaco on these cruises. We've taken them to Ireland, where they were able to stay overnight in a castle, which was really a great experience. St. Lucia, Maui, Cabo, Jamaica. We've taken them all over the world. And so we hope that as you get contracted and start writing business, especially with a little extra incentive from Messer, we hope to see some of you on our trip next year. The qualification right now is $75,000 of annualized premium, and for MGAs, it's $75,000 of annualized commission. So it's a great opportunity to see the world with United Home Life, and we love doing this. We love taking our agents on these trips, and I don't know, I can't say enough about it. It's really a great opportunity. I'm basically at the end of my slides here. These are all the legal things that I have to put up there. So Mark, if you're okay with that, I'm ready to take any questions that anybody may have.
Well, thank you very much, Cindy. And at this particular juncture, I don't think we have any questions yet. But I'll hold that available with a little bit more time.
Okay.
For our agents, just a couple things, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, reviewing back to the very beginning, the very low face amount that is available to you, as low as $2,000. That's a nice place to start. If you are an agent that has not really sold a lot of life insurance yet, a simplified product like this is probably a very good place to start. And because they have a little bit more flexibility than some of the bigger boys, let's say, I think you'll find that their response to you will be, number one, more personal, and perhaps be even faster in your ability to get your business issued. Second thing is looking at that simple term with that return of premium. If you've been on webinars with me before in the life insurance side, the ROP has been dwindling and going away faster and faster. So knowing that there's one out there like this, and knowing that they have that option, either A, to have a refund of that entire premium over that 20-year period, provided, I would think, as is all cases, it has been paid in for the full 20 years. They will receive that option, or just to take a reduced paid up policy and know that they will never have to make another premium payment, and that death benefit is going to be there and guaranteed for their survivors basically for the rest of their life. So again, a nice little extra, and again, as a new agent, you're probably going to find that a convenient tool and something that you may need a little bit more background on, and that's what we have our producer support department for.
Mark,
And,
if I could,
yeah,
if I could interject there just a minute, I want folks to keep in mind that we don't do full underwriting, which means we don't do table ratings A, B, C, D, or whatever you're used to. The ROP product that you mentioned has 4 tables built in. So if they've got a blood pressure issue or a cholesterol issue that's under control, they can still get the ROP plan. There are 4 tables there built into that plan. And that makes perfect sense because we, as Mark mentioned, will return all of the annual premiums. We don't return the modal fees. Or they can do that reduced paid up plan to 95, which is a great deal. If they still need some coverage, but maybe not the whole amount, they can continue coverage on a reduced paid up basis. And that it really makes sense because they don't have to pay any more premiums and they still have coverage in place.
Yeah, that is certainly a nice little extra. And I think too, there's more flexibility with your organization when we're talking about those clients, especially with the insulin diabetes.
Yeah.
Just again, if you want to touch on that, that would be great, Cindy.
Absolutely. If you have clients that are insulin dependent diabetic, our deluxe or DLX plans, whether it's whole life or term, are available for them if they qualify otherwise. In other words, if they don't have any other health issues, if they don't have neuropathy, those kind of things, we do have those plans available. On the whole life side, it's 5,000 minimum to 50,000 max. On the term side, it's a 25,000 minimum to a 50,000 max. Table 8, built in, great opportunity to get coverage on insulin dependent diabetics, and we're talking day 1 coverage. We're not talking graded benefits. We're talking full benefits day 1. And there are not a lot of other carriers in this market who will do that for insulin dependent diabetics, but we do. We don't make them wait. It's full coverage day 1.
Excellent. And again, thank you very much for that, Cindy.
Sure.
The Child Rider 2, again, ladies and gentlemen, a nice little extra at no cost to your clients, and the ability not only to add the child at the time that you're doing business with them on that initial application, but if they're younger people and they have a child later on, that you can come back in the house, add that rider on, and of course look for other insurance opportunities. So it's good reason to do a review, if not on an annual basis, at least every 2 years, and find out if there's been any changes in your client's family.
And excuse me, Mark, like with other carriers, that $5,000 free child rider on our term plans covers every child. If they have 1 child or if they have 20 children, each one is covered for $5,000, and each one has the ability to convert that to permanent without evidence on their 25th birthday. So that's something to keep in mind as well. You don't have to add a child rider for each child. Once you add it, every child, even subsequent children, are covered with that $5,000. And no cost, no extra premium for that.
All right. Once again, thank you, Cindy.
Yes.
And let's just see here. That looks like we do have some questions finally coming into our view. And someone here, Earl, has asked about if you'll repeat the stacking apps idea for them.
Sure. On our whole life plans and on our term plans, we use a stacked app. There are sections for each plan. And the idea behind the yes/no stacked app is that the more questions you can answer no, the less expensive the product is going to end up being. So in the first section, if all of that is answered no, you go to the next section for the next product. If all of that is answered no, you go to the last section. If all of that is answered no, then they're going to qualify for the least expensive final expense plan or term plan. However, if in one of those sections the answer to the question is yes, for example, what the slide that I showed was our whole life app. So in the bottom section, which is Express Issue Premier, that's the least expensive plan, we showed a no answer or a yes answer. So once that yes answer is there, go back to Express Issue Deluxe, and that is the plan they should qualify for. Does that help?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, another agent, someone is requesting information as far as brochures, etc. What I'm going to ask you to do, agents, if You will just check back in with our producer support department. That's what they're here for. They'll be glad to get those out to you in a PDF type of file, so you'll have them available. And one of the agents is asking about the actual contracting. So what's going to happen there, again, you're going to contract through us at Messer Financial, and we in turn are going to get a link to you to go back onto the website for United Health. Is that correct?
It's for United Home Life.
Family. Yeah. So
Yeah. So that's right.
Okay. And once you do that, then they'll get you in, and you'll be able to access, I assume, the quoting tools, etc. Or are they available, accessible before appointment?
To a limited extent, they are. Mark, I can email a link to you for our mobile quoting site. So agents who aren't contracted yet have the opportunity to look at premiums for different products, different ages, that kind of thing. We also can send out an application or an agent guide, something like that, to your office, which you can provide to your agents. But once they complete that e-contracting link, all the forms that are there, they should have access to the website within 48 hours. If somebody's in a hurry and has a case to write within the next day or so, if your office will just contact me, I can shove that through and make sure that they get access to the website so they can do an e-app or paper app or look at materials, whatever they need to do to get that business written.
Yes, agents, and if you want to make a note, you could access Cindy. Her area code is 317-692-7896. All right, let's get back on this question board here. And yes, go ahead.
I do just want to point out that our Protector AD plan is very, very simple to apply. And it does go down to age 18. So if one of your clients has some teenage drivers, this might be a great plan because at the end of the 20 years, they can get their annual premiums back. So your teen drivers are covered in the event, of an accidental death. You can, if you've got a firehouse down the street with volunteer firemen who can't always get fully underwritten life insurance, this is a great plan to layer some protection into what they already have. Same thing with municipal police, long-haul truckers, even loggers, teachers, doctors, lawyers. Anybody can get this plan. If anybody commutes to work, it's a great plan to have. If you travel for business, also a great plan to have. So it's overlooked sometimes, but it's a great little addition to somebody's portfolio of products.
Thank you once again, Cindy. And also, just for your information, I did go on to our Messer quote tool, and on the final expense quote tool, you can get that quote for your clients. Just to let you know too, I ran a 65-year-old female for only $10,000 of coverage, and that came in at $3,360, which was the lowest in comparison to the other 25 quotes that were out there. So as Cindy said, they are very, very competitive. The male at 65 for that same 10,000 was $45.79, which actually posted as number 3 within $1 of number 1 and 2. So again, no challenge there for you to come up with a quote that you can feel very comfortable bringing to your clients.
I'm glad you mentioned that $10,000 face amount, Mark, because we track the National Funeral Directors Association and their general price list for funerals. And right now, the average median funeral cost in the nation is, I think, $8,788. So $10,000, that's a nice round number. It should cover, the funeral and a few extras if you need it. So yeah, $10,000 is a great little sale. And it works for you, it works for your clients. It just fits on the site, simplified issue. It's there when you need it.
Excellent. And let's see, again, agents, you have a easy access here to us and our producer support department. If you're calling in, that's going to be extension 813. And by doing so, we have a staff here that can not only help you with the questions, but assist you if you do need a quick quote. So again, if you're having difficulty before you get this mobile app on the road, we're here to support that. The question came up about chargeback. Let's hope that you don't write business that has to be charged back. I don't know the exact monthly timetable, but most companies say if you have your client cancel that contract within the first 12 months, you're going to be charged back. Do you know what the policy is on that, Cindy?
That's correct. It's a full chargeback in the first 12 months. And on our guaranteed issue plan, because we all know what kind of business that is, it's a 50% chargeback in year 2. The guaranteed issue is a great plan, but we don't want folks writing business in hospices or nursing homes, that kind of thing. You know, we would like the product to stay on the books for, you know, at least 2 years, hopefully more. So we do have a little skin in the game on that one for agents. It's a 50% in year 2.
And thank you for that little extra. That's important to know. And again, an agent is asking about a guaranteed product. So perhaps if you would, Cindy, just review again that guaranteed product that you do have.
Absolutely. It's called Guaranteed Issue Whole Life. It's available for issue ages 45 to 75. The minimum face is $5,000. The maximum face is $10,000. There's no PHI, no health questions, except in Pennsylvania. It's a very simple product to apply for. You may have clients that have serious health conditions, and that may be a good fit for them. You may also have a client who's willing to pay extra not to have to answer any questions. They just, you know, want the simplest coverage possible in the simplest way possible. But again, it's $5,000 to $10,000, 45 to 75, no health questions, no PHI.
Okay, thank you also. And we do have a little in-house question coming from our agent support department. If an e-app is used, what is the normal time turnaround for a decision on that application?
Well, it's when an e-app comes in, it goes to the front of the line. It's submitted within 24 hours, and right now our underwriting turnaround time is roughly 48 hours. So you should have a decision within 48 hours on that. We do pay daily commissions. So one premium is applied to the plan. Commissions will release in that night cycle and be on their way to your bank.
Excellent. And when we're speaking about that turnaround time on applications, again, is that going to be the same on a guarantee issue product as it would be for what would be considered a simple issue?
Yes, that it would be the same turnaround unless it's an e-app, which gets bumped to the front of the submit line. Now, I do want to point out you can use e-app for guaranteed issue, but the agent does have to meet in person with the insured. But that doesn't mean that you still can't do an e-app, and we use a click sign process. In other words, instead of doing a stylus or figure signature, the client simply clicks a button to accept everything, and then the app gets submitted once the agent clicks submit. But with a guaranteed issue, you do need to be in front of the insured. If there's a different policy owner or different payor, they don't have to be present, but the insured does.
Okay, and one thing I didn't hear, thank goodness, was that a phone interview is required before the application is complete. Is that correct?
If you submit an application without doing the phone interview, what you said is technically correct. However, if it's a product that requires a PHI, we'll still order one. So we'll need the best contact information for your client so that we can set that PHI up from here. We can do that. But as I mentioned, it's better if the agent is there while the client is doing the PHI, because at the end of the call, the interviewer will ask to speak to the agent and will tell the agent whether they can apply for that plan or they need to apply for a different plan. So it makes sense to try and do it at point of sale if you can, but if not, we'll do it for you.
Okay, again, thank you very much. Is there a bill chart with the information? In other words, is there a height weight requirement that someone can exceed and not qualify?
Yes. Again, technically, they could exceed it, but if everything else is, really good or better than good, the underwriting can overlook a few pounds in excess of what our limits are. The build chart is available in all of our agent guides, and it's also available on our product portfolio. And that's a PDF I can send to your office, Mark, and you can pass that out so folks can see.
Okay, excellent.
And it lists the products by weight.
Okay, well, suddenly we do have questions, so this is good. Do you accept a debit card on the actual payment process?
They can pay the first premium over the phone by calling in. We don't do an automatic bill. I think that we will accept debit cards if we can get it to go through. There have been some issues in the past with a debit card trying to pull premiums from someone's checking or savings account, but yes, they can try.
Okay, so there you go. You can try. Pretty much like the food store. Sometimes if you don't have that PIN number, you can't get it done. Is there an interest accrual for whole life plans? So
As far as the cash value goes,
yes.
4.5% is what's built into the contract. Now, I can say 4.5%, but it actually, there's some actuarial stuff going on in there. But what we state in our products, in our policies, is I believe it's 4.5%. And the other thing I want to point out is we don't do illustrations. We do quotes, and so a quote just gives you the premium. We don't do illustrations because we're not required to, because every aspect of our policies is guaranteed. The term premiums are guaranteed level for the initial period. The cash values are guaranteed in the ROP plan. Everything is guaranteed. So we don't do illustrations. We just do quotes.
Okay, thank you. And I am being reminded by my producer support department that yes, they will assist you and run those quotes when necessary. So again, please do get back to us when you need that extra help. The actual presentation, I should have said this earlier, so I'll catch it now, is going to be recorded. Rebecca is doing that at this time as we speak, and she'll put that up on the website approximately 1 week from today. So you will be able to go back in there and access it to review it, to get a quick review for your own interest, as well as perhaps I would think if you needed to, you could use it without objection. Is that correct, Cindy, in a presentation type of format?
If they wanted to use this presentation with other agents, that's fine, not with clients.
Not with clients, okay?
We have separate presentations available for clients. In fact, we have a consumer website. It's unitedhomelife.com, and there are little videos out there which can be shown to clients. So that would probably be a better option for your agent, particularly if they're not yet contracted with us. We do have a number of statements or states that require an appointment prior to soliciting. But if they're in a just-in-time state and they want to meet with a client, they can show them the video from the consumer site.
All right, so that'll help you with your out-of-state business. And then, yes, like our other presentations on the Message Learning University, those are for your use only. Question came in from Jerry as far as there being an annual fee. And yes, Jerry, all providers of products like this do have an annual fee, and that is built into the contract. As in most cases, that is not a commissionable portion for you, the agent, or is it in this case?
It
Go
is
ahead.
in this case. We
Okay.
commission the policy fees. It's a $100 policy fee on term, $50 on the whole life, and it is fully commissionable.
All right, so there you go. Another little extra that you would receive. James would like you to give another quick review on the single pay whole life product.
We don't have a single pay plan,
Okay.
so I need
So you're done.
no, maybe it was something else,
Yeah,
but we don't have single pay.
I'm looking
It's
at
something that we're looking at, but we don't have it yet.
You know what? It was that where it said SP whole life.
Oh, standard and preferred.
So
That
that's
is
probably, yeah, that's probably what happened. Standard
Okay.
and preferred was thought to be a single pay product, which it is not.
No,
So
that's the provider plan.
Mhm.
Suitable for juveniles because it goes down to age 0 and up to age 80. For juveniles 0 to 17, we do have that built-in GID rider, which gives them the option of purchasing up to the face amount at a later point without evidence, which could be a real godsend if something happens in their health history that affects them adversely. It is available, for your young marrieds or millennials. We do have it on a standard and preferred basis. It's a paper app only for that one. And the questions are longer. I mean, there are more questions on that one because it is standard and preferred only.
Okay, thank you again.
Welcome.
And once again, an agent is asking a question, and Michael, it's not usually the case. If you have one policy issued by a company, you usually can't stack them. In other words, if your client wants 40,000 of coverage and he's only going to qualify for 10, you're not going to be able to write another 10 with the same company. You might be able to go out there and find another company and get 10 more. Correct?
Yes, that's correct. But depending on their issue age,
Mhm.
if they're between 18 and 60, you can add Protector AD. It doesn't count.
Okay.
So you can get them a little more coverage.
So the accidental death benefit will give them more coverage, even though the 10,000 is still their basic policy death benefit.
Right, and on that accidental death then, at the end of 20 years, they'll get a refund of their annual premiums if it's, if there's no claim. So that's a good thing for them. I mean, it gives them a little more coverage in a really cost-effective way.
Okay, good. And is the normal process with you a appointment prior to taking an application?
Depends on the state. North Carolina is a just-in-time state, so we won't appoint until business comes in. If you live in Georgia, that is a pre-appointment state. Or Texas, we need to get you appointed first, and we'll do that when we receive the contract. We'll appoint them right away.
So in the case of North Carolina, that would apply even on the final expense type of sale.
That's correct. They could write it before they're appointed in North Carolina, and before they're even contracted with us. If we get the contract and the business at the same time, that will, be just perfectly fine with us. We'll get them appointed. We can backdate an appointment in North Carolina. In Georgia, we can't do that. So if they wanted to write a paper app ahead of being contracted with us, they can do that.
Excellent. Thank you once again.
Of course.
Let's see. Do we have anything left? All right. I think we've come to the end of the questions, so let's touch on that bonus that we would like to make available to you. So first and foremost, of course, you've got to get your appointment done. So please do that with us, contract through Messer, so that United Family Life Insurance product is going to be with us and the United Home Life products as well. And then when you write that application within the next 30 days, so your clock starts today, May 8th, get appointed and bring us an application within 30 days and you will receive $25 gift card back from Messer. If you are able to complete 3 applications, within that same 30-day period, we'll increase that gift card to $100.
Wow.
And let's see, yeah, it's part of what's called our Fireball program. If you're not familiar with it, agents, please do check back in with your agent support department. And I think at this time, I think we're good to go, Cindy. Thank you very much for all the information today.
You're most welcome. And call me anytime, really. You can use our toll-free number, which is 800-428-3001, and my extension is 7896. Feel free to call me anytime. I'll do my best to help you out.
Okay, Cindy, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending today. Look forward to your participating in future webinars that we're offering to enhance your business. Mark Contra.
Thank you.
Signing off.